and be that person. Go and be who you would love, because you're going to attract that type of person.
Yeah. All right, so we are here live on the podcast to essentially talk about our relationship. How good?
How good?
Yeah. So, you've been getting like a lot of questions in like your Instagram. What have people been?
Yes, I have
asking?
like been bombarded. So I ended up doing a question box because I was like, there's so many ridiculous ones in there. The first one, which was asked about 500 times, was, how did you meet? So I feel like that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Social media.
Hinge.
Tinder. The brothel.
What? You're crazy, darling.
No,
Oh
we met on social media. So I'm pretty sure we were both seeing someone different at the time. When I originally followed you, I was actually seeing someone else. And I heard Corey on his podcast, but somebody shared it and I was like, yo, this dude knows what's up. So I followed him. And then I shot my shot in a story of some sort.
I think I definitely messaged you
there
first.
We go. I was waiting for that.
I definitely messaged you first. I was in, whatchamacallit, I was at that stage where I was like, in my life, I was like, I definitely am after a relationship and I want a long-term one. And I've got like this list, this sort of ideal of like what I'd like a girl to be. And I need her to tick all of the boxes.
And it's me.
Yeah. So I started I was like, I'm going to give like 10% of my energy to finding a girl, which is just going to be at nighttime. I'll spend 10 minutes on dating apps and social media, talking to people. And obviously I was talking to you.
And
I was interested in
people.
you and you weren't messaging back that much. And I was like, I do want to see where this goes because I need someone who has crazy energy or I'm going to get completely bored.
And I did leave him on red multiple times. I did.
Yeah, so I asked some questions and I was like, we'll see how we go. And then, he started ticking some of the boxes and I was like, this is good.
What's crazy about me is I was not in a place where I wanted a relationship at all. Like 3 weeks prior, I was like, that's it. I'm done. All men are trash. I hate them all. I hate them. I am not being in a relationship ever. I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. And then, Corey's like one of the first questions to me was like, hey, what are your values and morals? And I was like, good morning. Like, hey. So I remember thinking, like, to be fair, I kind of was a bit like, oh, righto. Okay, mate. Like, who's this guy? But now we're here. So
yeah, exactly. Well, I needed to get clear on that because I didn't really want to waste time. I didn't want to muck around with any of the small talk stuff. I didn't want to, literally, I just didn't want to waste any time. So I was just okay, let's see how this goes. And at first I was like, all right, she sounds really cool, but I'm going to have to talk to her on the phone just in case, anything is, if she, in quotations, passes the test.
He still gives me 100 tests even today, jeez.
So I just wanted to see, if we actually gelled before we went on a date. And I chatted you on the phone and I was like, well, I like
she's
this
not
one.
10 out of 10. She's 11 out of 10. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, but I'm pretty sure our first phone conversation ended up being a couple hours because I still lived in Brisbane at the time, I remember. And I was in the process of moving down to the Gold Coast and we were on the phone for a very long time.
Yeah, I asked you one question. That was all I asked for the entire conversation.
And he didn't get a word in because I talked the entire time.
No, we both talked lots, which is really good. And then obviously, we caught up. Our first date was at 5:45 in the morning.
Yeah, no joke. I remember telling my friends our first date was 12 hours long. 12 hours long. That's a joke. That's stupid. But I think he called me crazy one of the first times he ever spoke to me and I was like, absolutely. So I think he knew it fit anyway.
Cute though.
Absolutely. All right.
So
Next question.
Let's get to some questions.
They're pretty hectic, to be fair. A lot of them, people just went straight in. So the first one is how to not constantly feel less, not worthy of the other person.
Well, would you like to talk on that?
Yeah. You want me to talk on that because that's exactly how I felt. So I think it takes work. I have done a lot of work on my own. And I think Corey knows that. I think it's very hard to go into a relationship thinking that other people can fix you. And I would like to preface that no one can fix you. You have to fix yourself and do the work. In terms of that, you have to be conscious of why you don't feel worthy, why you feel less than. And for a lot of people, that's where the blockage is because they either don't know or they're too scared to go and find out. So even though for a long time, and probably still sometimes that comes up, I don't feel worthy or I do feel less than. Corey knows that. I've communicated that to him. I have my things that I go through to not feel that way, but I have also done a lot of work in terms of finding out where it comes from. So if any triggers come up, I know exactly how to handle it. So I think, Yeah, it can be really hard. And especially when you are in a relationship or, you know, in a situationship or whatever with someone who is very confident in themselves, it's sometimes hard to feel like you can step up to the bar. But I don't know. What do you want to add to that?
Yeah, well, I never really got that vibe from you in the first place. It wasn't.
Fake it till you make it, bitches.
So I didn't get that vibe from you until we started like talking, and then you just openly talking about it. You're like, yes, gone to therapy, sort my own stuff out, whatever it is, and just need to let you know. And from a guy's point of view, being in my position, like being a little bit older than you, like I literally coach people in relationships and stuff, so I understand that. I was like, okay, I need to like create the best amount of space as possible so that we can build comfort and trust, so that you're open enough to communicate these things with me, so then we can actually talk through them and understand each other on a real good level, so that you feel, oh, okay, this is the actual thing. Because I'm assuming that a lot of your like self-worth stuff that come from was like your relationship with your dad.
Absolutely. And that's for a lot of females, it is. Absolutely. Or it's, it sometimes can be a lack of relationship with a mum, but majority of the time it is with the dad. And I remember, I was actually talking about this morning to a girlfriend. I was saying how I literally remember in therapy at the time being like, I don't know how to feel worthy of a relationship when I'm not in a relationship, because you can't, all of those triggers and that stuff comes up the minute, like when you're with someone. And I remember my therapist one day, she was just like, I know you have to learn when you get in one, but someday you will find somebody who holds the space for you. And I was like 19 at the time. I remember being like, no, she is lying. All men are trash. She doesn't know. And now we're here. So you can find somebody that holds space for you, but you also, again, like I said, have to be willing to do the work yourself. Like I just say Corey holds my hand while I do the work, because he can't fix me no matter how much I want him to. So
yeah, and I try not to try to either. We do say one thing. Sometimes it's so like annoying when we say it to each other, but other times I think it's really good. Is we just be like, sometimes we use it a little bit too much. Sometimes we say this as like a joke, be like, oh, that's a you thing.
Yeah.
But I think when it does get serious, sometimes we'll say like, you know, that's like up for you and your journey to overcome. Like that's not me, so I'm not going to put the pressure on me for anything. And as a guy, like speaking from a guy's point of view, do you know how hard it is for us dudes to like not try to fix you? We see a problem, you're sad, upset, you're unhappy, because our internal goal is to like, all men's internal goal is make the girl happy, right? And the second that you're not happy for your own things, we're like, the world's coming down. I need to make her happy. Fix it. And like, no matter what you do, it's so hard to sort of disconnect yourself from that and be like, no, girls are really strong emotionally. Like we're not as strong emotionally. Like, yes, they feel them more. Yeah. And it's like, just let them trust the process and just encourage them. Yeah. Which is what like I try to do.
And I think having a lot of patience with that is really important. And that's why I'm not really a fan of, in my opinion, the whole situationships, which I was in a couple of situationships prior to meeting Corey, because it's like you don't get enough time to be able to communicate those things and work on them. And if you actually want to work through those things, you need to be with someone who's willing to commit to you and work with them.
Yeah.
So
I think as well, like just like putting on one point from here, because there's a difference between, I hate saying this, it's controversial, but there's seriously a difference between boys and men. And you know you still haven't matured yourself. As a guy, you haven't matured yourself if you cannot commit to your girl.
Absolutely.
And you only can't commit to your girl because you cannot commit to life. Yeah. And after doing all the hero's journey, coaching and stuff that I've got, I'm like, the next evolution for me to mature as a man is to have a good relationship that I can commit to. I can commit to life. I know my purpose. Yeah. I know my work and stuff. You come in and you're like this amazing feminine energy that I'm like, I want this around me. Yeah. And I'm like, I can 100% commit to that and commit to you. And then that comes in for us, how we always say, we've got, there's you, there's me, and there's a relationship.
I was so weird. I feel like this is so on topic because I was literally talking about this morning, but I remember seeing one of those inspirational things on Instagram, me, like I was like, oh, I had literally given up on all men. Like literally me at 20, I've given up on all men. But like, it's true. And I did see that. There was a man talking about it and he said like, you will never be able to be with a man if you're in that type of relationship that hasn't manifested his future yet. And that you have definitely proven that to me, like, because you know where you want to go, you know your purpose, you're driven, you know what you want to do with your life. You're like, yeah, now I can commit to you. I have been in past relationships with other people that as much as they really cared about me and they wanted to be with me, they couldn't, because they're like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life next week, let alone next year. And it's hard because I think females are so easily just adapt to that and will accommodate for that and whatever, whereas guys can't do that. Unfortunately.
Do you know why?
No. You want to tell us?
Yeah. So the reason girls do that is because, and I figured this out while reading and stuff, is unconsciously they're always seeking love. Remember, how can I give love? How can I receive love? That's like the girls' unconscious question that they're always questioning. Yeah. So when in a position where, as you said, it's like you know, girls find it a lot easier to be able to be like, oh, there's love here. I can commit to this. Not so much you, the person, or whatever it is. It's like there's love in this relationship. I want to commit to that. When a lot of men just don't even know how to receive that love. So I feel like intuitively girls get it. And then when people leave, it's because love's not reciprocated. Yeah.
I also feel like, though, that's a whole nother topic that we can go down in pathways. But though my idea of love before meeting you was so warped because it was like attachment. Every single, like I just had toxic attachment to every single other person I met because of the way that I was treated as a kid, and especially the way that every single adult relationship I'd ever witnessed, lack of communication, it was manipulative, there was so many other things. So my idea of love was completely wrong, and that's all I knew. So I was addicted to that type of love, the up and down, and I'm like, this is very stable, and it was taking a lot of time to get used to. I'm still a little bit scared. Still don't really know what's going on right now.
Yeah. I just would like to touch on the you, me, like you, them, and the relationship as well, just to like circle back to that. And it's just a little like mindset thing is seeing the relationship as its own entity. Yeah. It's like, it's not you, it's not me, whatever we're talking about. No. The things that we enjoy, like about the other person, contribute to the relationship, and the things that we don't like about each other or get triggered about each other is all the relationship. Yeah. I don't have to work on you, you don't have to work on me. That's our own responsibility, and we can support and encourage each other for that. Yeah. But what we're both committed to and working on is the relationship itself. And that's why I remember you had that story that I posted. I'm like, you may not be the one forever. I may not be the one forever. Yeah. But at the moment, we're so committed.
And I think what's really sad is not enough people think that way. Like you have to remember that people grow and change constantly all the time. And you and I in 2 years' time might be two completely different people. We may not be attracted to the people that we were 2 years prior. Doesn't mean it's a shit relationship. Doesn't mean we don't care about each other. But that's the end of that chapter. And I think I kind of wish that more people thought about that, were conscious about that, because I feel like a lot more relationships would be a lot more positive rather than being so negative.
It removes you from attachment.
It does.
It makes you so much more present and grateful. Like seriously, words can't express. Like I try to explain like our relationship to people sometimes, and I'm like, we are just so like majority of the time. I said literally like 80% of the time we're so present and just grateful for each other.
When I'm not hungry.
When you're not Barbara. Chloe has an alter ego, guys, and I'm sure all the girls out there can relate, and all the boyfriends can relate. When you're like, oh, my girlfriend is hungry.
Yeah, I'm not a nice person, and so we've created another entity of our relationship, Barbara. That's my hangry, and she's not invited to any of our parties. She sometimes comes up, so Corey brings snacks in his pockets for Barbara, so she doesn't try. Yeah, here's what he calls it. All right, do we jump onto? They just keep rolling through. I put up a story before, and they're like, just keep coming through. I'm like, you guys are quick.
Anyone that sticks out.
Yes. Thank you. So many, how did you guys meet? There was one that came up, says, do you think having a healthy lifestyle helps with your sex drive? I literally did a Zoom call on this like 2 days ago.
Really?
Fuck yeah, it does.
Why?
Because it allows, I don't know. I feel like you can probably go into the science of it more than I could. So please feel free.
Well, I'd love to see like your perception of it.
Well,
how you feel about it.
I don't know, in terms of having a healthy lifestyle, meaning that your body is in balance, you're eating the right food, you're sleeping well, all that stuff means happy hormones, right? Happy hormones mean happy sex drive. So I feel like that's the very basic of it. But I know myself personally, when my life isn't quote unquote healthy, if I'm too stressed, if I'm not eating well and whatever, my sex drive it disappears. It's not there anymore. And that sucks, because that just is a little bit of conflict in the relationship. Not fun.
I wouldn't say it's even conflict in the relationship. Just depends on how much you support.
Well, I think if it goes for long enough, there's people, I mean, to be fair, it was because I did a Zoom call with my girls, and they would say if it's going for extended periods of time, people that don't have sex drives for 6 months, like your poor boyfriend at the end of the day is going to feel pretty shit, right? It's not going to be vibing very much.
I just want to see you naked and pretty.
Yeah, pretty much. So I would like to know though, what your opinion on that is.
Cool. So I would say not even like a healthy lifestyle. It's just understanding where the sex drive comes in both partners. Yeah. For men, I believe that it's very visual. Like we think our partners are so goddamn sexy. Yeah. And unless you're feeling sexy, you won't, like, it's almost like you almost don't believe that we think you're really sexy, even though intentionally we're just like, oh absolutely, my God, everything about you is amazing. Please own it. But it's just understanding as well that oxytocin, especially for girls, is, and John Gray talks a lot about this, a lot of science on this, oxytocin, which is the love hormone, is what charges you up to make you your libido increase. And I remember we had a conversation about this because my sex drive was going up. You were coming off the pill, so your sex drive was going down.
I was like, this is what's happening to me. I'm broken.
So the reason girls like libido increases is from oxytocin, the love hormone. So I remember as guys, we can take responsibility for this, and the girls can take responsibility for this, and you can actually communicate it. You can talk about like, hey, I'm not feeling like my libido increase at the moment. For girls, what men need to understand is it takes time. If you think about them having like a libido tank, so after their period, I can't remember where it is in the cycle, something like that, it basically empties. Or when you have sex.
I'm pretty sure it's like the phase prior to, I literally looked at a graph on this yesterday, phase prior to getting your period, whatever that phase is, I'm pretty sure that's when
like
it's like, because it's after ovulation. So after that, you're just like, oh yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay. So from there, and that's tank, as a guy, you want to understand that you need to fill that tank back up with like oxytocin hits, which is literally just feeling love. So I remember sending you a message. I was like, hey, like my sex energy right now is increased really highly. I want to get the most out of it. Can I take you out on a date this weekend? Should I post something on social media? Because I know Chloe feels love like that. Should I do something else that's going to make you feel love that I can do for you, which is going to increase your sexual energy so that I can actually enjoy that. And as a guy, just like putting restrictions around how regularly I ejaculate, it's like, cool, I actually need to go out. And I just term this in men's language as I'm like, I'm going on a hunt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to hunt you down.
Oh my God, no. No, this is too much.
That's just how I frame it in myself. And it's like, okay, what that means is I need to have a goal. I need to take you out on a date, make you feel all the love and everything so that your sex energy increases so that I can enjoy it. Because if, as a guy that I understand, majority of guys, or I'd say just people that I know in my world, wouldn't understand that them feeling sexy, going out to dinner, dressing up, feeling heaps of love, hugs and kisses, like, oh, I feel sexy and all these things right now. Now I can give to you. And then you can really enjoy that in the meantime. So it's not just a healthy lifestyle. No. It's also understanding where the love is.
It's like a healthy relationship with yourself, which is why with my girls, we did that chat because it was also like having good self-esteem, having good body image, all that sort of stuff. Because even in terms of the way that I look now is like the heaviest, most fat I've ever been in my life, but it's the most confident I've ever been. So it's not actually, doesn't mean you have to look a certain way, but it's how you feel. And I think from a female's perspective, because I know a lot of girls are going to listen to this after I share it, it's like you also have to be open to communicating that with your partner, because if they don't know what they don't know.
We're just like, why are we not feeling sex vibes right now?
And it's like, because guys are just like, yeah, let's fucking go right now. Yeah. Whereas girls, like, it takes us a bit longer. We got to get warmed up. And I, from like a perspective of, because I am so over the top and I like to be matching all the time and do my makeup and do all those sorts of things, Corey's very accommodating to that. In previous relationships, I have had men that aren't accommodating to that, and that actually then therefore affects the other areas in my life too without even realizing, because he's just like, fuck yeah, go get your 500 pairs of earrings and your shoes and I'm like, yeah, thank you.
Take your time, getting ready, making yourself look sexy, putting yourself up so that I can just breathe in that feminine energy.
And from another note, do not settle for less, because we're going to Cairns at the end of this month, and instead of complaining that I needed luggage, he just bought himself luggage for me also. Win-win, ladies. I was like, this is the best. Fuck yeah. I can have one suitcase full of shoes and then the other full with handbags.
I need a backpack, is that
it? Yeah, shut up. Whatever, we get it. Minimalist to whatever.
But I like it. You need your stuff.
Yeah. Next question. I like this one. It's just cute. What are your love languages?
Oh, nice. Acts of service, baby.
Yeah. Through and through, his acts of service. And quality time would be a next one.
I've got a few there. Well, I try to receive the other ones really well as well. It's not like the other ones don't matter. And for anyone who's listening, the 5 love languages, I hope I get this right: acts of service, quality time, gift giving, words of affirmation, and touch. Yeah. We're very touch. I didn't realize how big my touch was until like meeting you, because you're like the most touchiest person ever. You guys see, it was like when we're working together at home, like we'll have like a half an hour work grind. The next minute she comes up to me, she's like, I need a cuddle now.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. And I think it's so funny because it's like, that's the only one that I really care about, quality time and affection. But those two can be hand in hand in terms of like, I could sit on the couch, you give me a hug, my life's complete. I feel amazing.
But knowing that's really important too, because anytime it's like, I want to give you love or I want to receive love, it's like, well, if I just give you some of this, then I'm going to get some back.
Yes, so. It's not on here, but I had a girl ask me a question, which you probably know the answer to, in terms of hers was physical touch and his wasn't at all. He was not affectionate, and she was like, how do I go about that? Do you have an example of how someone would go about that?
Yeah, that's some serious communicating.
Yeah.
Like you need to figure out sort of like a percentage of like, this is like what I need.
Yeah.
Like literally, and I don't want to deal with anything more. Like this is sort of like the line, anything less than this, I'm going to start resenting you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And for him, he'd have to communicate, cool, so this is the amount of touch that I like to give. And then like any more than this, like I sort of need my own space for it.
Yeah.
But then you can accommodate as well for other things. So she probably needs touch and she's thinking from him, and he doesn't like touch, but there's probably a love language that he really likes that he's not getting spoken, or if he doesn't know his purpose and stuff,
Yeah.
it's going to be harder for him to be able to give and receive love. So figuring out what his is,
Yeah.
and just helping him, like encouraging him to find his mission, his purpose, and support him to go out there and crush that,
Yeah.
is got to give him the extra energy and like fill up his own cup. So there's an
Yeah.
outflow that he can be like, cool, I have so much extra, like I don't care, that touches my thing. I'm gonna hug you because you like it.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this as a gift.
And you also have to be willing to, you know, compromise in the sense that even if you don't love it, your partner loves that. And if you want to be with them, you have to meet them in the middle at some point. I had a friend that had a relationship and hers was acts of service like Corey's is. And so, her partner knew that, and he used to go and like clean her car on the weekend when she was really busy or do things for her. That was a form of service. His was affection, and she did not know, like she wasn't affectionate, and she just kept complaining that she couldn't give, that he wanted hugs, he wanted kiss, all that. And I'm like, you have to meet him in the middle at some point. But they really, really didn't know how to communicate. So communication can be really hard, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And I think the more you avoid it, your relationship's going to eventually go down the drain, whether it's a decent relationship, it has potential or not. So
100% agree. And that was like when we first had our first tiff in the car that time.
I cried. It wasn't even, it was over like basically nothing, and I cried.
Yeah, if you're emotional, you cry over lots of things.
And I used to hate that, but I'm learning it's just like,
I love it.
If
because I like comforting you.
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna say,
you're
you
sad. Let me give you a cuddle. Come here. I love being. I'm the big hero. Let me come in and support you.
But in terms of like an independent female, that does not make me feel good. I'm like, why the fuck am I being a big baby,
I don't
bro?
need no man.
Yeah, literally. I was like,
And then
no.
I cuddle you and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I can do it myself. And I think allowing yourself though to just like let those emotions come out makes it easier to go through as well and move through. And I think I also had a fear of conflict in relationships due to other things that I've been through. So it was also just me experiencing a couple of tiffs and a couple of disagreements to go, oh, this is fine and it's normal and like that's cool.
And it also depends how you have your tiffs too, because I know there's like questions on this as well.
Yeah.
And that is like for my example, being able to control emotions is so handy, or just being able to like meet them at the middle, feel them, understand that they are there, take a breath, and then communicate calmly is so important.
Oh my God.
Like Chloe's face, guys, when we were in the car.
Oh yeah, I was going to tell this story. There you go.
Would you like to tell the story?
Oh yeah, maybe I will. Yeah. Literally. So I have very much experienced in previous relationships, people being angry, people not being able to control their emotions. So in my like opinion of men, I was always quite scared of men in relationships in general.
They'd blow up, be
yeah,
reactive,
blow up. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Or like slam doors and things like that. So that was just like any time that, again, why I cried in the car when we had that argument, because I was just straight away ready for you to like bite at me. And we're like having this argument and like it goes silent. We're on a way
May
to...
I pause you there? Because I have been bad before.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I've been reactive.
Yeah.
I've rose my voice. I've slammed things beforehand, and I've understand like, okay, that is just not appropriate. It's not noble, and it's not part of maturity at all. And I need to change this big time. So I did so much work.
Yes.
Like so much work to understand like how I can actually change that. So for the girls with partners, for guys who are reactive, or if you are a guy and you know you've had some sort of reactive tendencies, and that's also passive aggressiveness, sarcasm, that is holding resentment. Like instead of raising your voice or whatever, you can just be passive aggressive about things and just be like, oh, I'm going to give this thing, pretend like I'm giving it my all when I'm just doing like nothing out of like a fuck you back to them, which harbors resentment. So there's other ways to also sort of install what quote unquote like soft violence into the relationship that doesn't have to be or slamming doors and like being reactive,
or the silent treatment and withdrawal. That's what my dad used to do to us as kids. Like if he was not happy with us, he would just be like, oh well, that's it then, whatever, and then just wouldn't talk to us. And we would get in like, so that was my fear of Corey. When things would happen, I was like, he's going to withdraw from me, and that makes me feel scared, and that makes me feel like I'm going to be alone. And funny enough, we had this argument on the way to dinner. I was originally feeling cute, not feeling cute anymore because I'm crying, there's mascara on my face, and it was silent, and he just goes, I just need to let you know I'm really angry right now, and I just need 5 minutes to like recollect myself. And I nearly died. I was like, wait, what? Hey, what do you mean? What do you mean? He just so calmly was like, I'm really angry. And I just didn't know what to do. I was like, and then what did I do after that? Oh, I tried to make everything go back to normal. Oh, so how's this? How's it? And he was just like, no. Like, I literally just told you I need 5 minutes. And we got to the restaurant, and again, me pretending everything was fine. We just need to order this. He was like, Chloe, we need to talk about this. We need to communicate about this. But the fact that you were able to do that, and I really appreciate the fact that you have talked about growth. Like you say, you didn't do that before. And that brings us back full circle to that original question of like, you need to take care of yourself. You need to put the work into yourself, because we all have shit that we do, and we all have things that aren't so great about ourselves. But if you don't control that, that's when stuff starts to blow up in a relationship.
You know what's so cool though is a relationship is the perfect place to practice it.
It is.
And that's why trust and like communication with the other person and being able to hold space is so perfect, because you know that you're both going to be going through this stuff.
Yeah.
Whether like, if it's like something happens and I'm getting reactive about something, or you're like, just as like a common thing that happens is either like being too needy, or like testing me with stuff or whatever it is, or poking, like just from a guy's perspective, is understand that that's also a growth journey for you. And we're in this together. And we're
choosing each other.
And we choose each other, and we're like choose to learn all these things, because like a relationship, I believe, is the best ceremony for growth. It's a consistent mirror that every time you're not being your best self, they're just boom, straight back in your face. There it is. It forces you to swallow so many bitter truths about yourself.
It's hard.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it when we get into those.
We're about to go down a rabbit hole, guys. No, but that's why I actually was talking about it this morning again. How's that for alignment? Talking about Chris Rock did a talk, and he was literally saying that a relationship is like trying to move a couch. If you're both not willing to move the couch, it's not going to fucking move, and you're going to be stuck there by yourself. So if both of you aren't willing to put in the effort and move the goddamn couch, babe, what's the point? What's the point? There is none. You don't have to be in a relationship. You shouldn't need to be. You know, you can want one, absolutely, but
that's what people go into there, because they feel attached.
Absolutely.
I need this. I need to be here.
Been there, done that way too many times.
Means to an end.
Yes, absolutely. All right, what's going to be the next one? What you time do you give each other throughout the week? We don't live with each other, so that makes it a lot easier. And I very quickly, from the beginning of our relationship, told Corey, because I know that about myself now, I recharge introvertedly on my own, no one around, by myself. So I very quickly was like, just so you know, even though I have a very extroverted personality, I need me time. So I think we've communicated that quite well from the beginning. But we're pretty good. Like if we spend the whole weekend with each other, and it gets to Tuesday, I'm like, oh, miss you. You want to have a sleepover? We're like, no, let's make it to the weekend, because otherwise I think you need to miss each other, right? I think that's important. Yeah.
And like it hurts sometimes. I'm like, oh, I miss you so much. But then I'm like, no, we'll wait till the weekend.
Yeah.
But at the same time, sometimes we also just like, if we're feeling it, we'll just hang out, as much as possible. But we really understand, because we've just communicated like each other's boundaries. So there's, even with like the you time and stuff that we have, I'd say that at the start of the relationship, like, because I've been in long-term relationships before, so I sort of get it.
Whereas I have not.
You haven't.
Yeah.
I understand that being together in certain like places when you're just chilling can charge each other up.
Yeah.
And at the start of the relationship, that didn't happen for you.
No, not at all. No. Yeah.
When you were just like, because you're like, give. You just need to press the button on that thing, and then we'll keep going.
Am I good enough to take this off?
Yeah. Then you can chuck them back. Hey, sexy lady. You just press the red one, and then you might have to press it again. Yep, that's good. Perfect. We are live again. So yeah, I remember at the start of the relationship, you were very give, need to make this good, need to show up, blah, 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 all these things, which when you were around, would obviously like drain you.
Yes.
But now, like I would say, like the last, even just month and a half, so we've been together like a few months now. It's like the last like month and a half or whatever. We've been able to recharge up together big time. And you're like, oh, this is so nice. I feel like so recharged.
But I feel very comfortable with you now, and I'm very well aware that I'm not attached to you whatsoever. Like we talk about it all the time, and so many people got so offended on social media, which I thought was so funny. And when we both spoke about, like, as we said before, this may not be a forever thing. And like everyone, it's so funny. Everyone was so offended but us, because we were like, it doesn't matter. But I think, I don't know.
Hashtag fuck attachment.
Yeah. And I had always, and every other like relationship I'd ever been in was attachment. And I thought about this yesterday too, was like, I know for girls listening, this is going to hit home. If I didn't get a reply straight away, I didn't get a good morning text by the time I'd been up for 10 minutes. If I didn't hear from you, do whatever, didn't like see you for a certain period of time, I would be anxious all the time. Why me? They're going to leave me. Oh my God, this is so, like, and then it made me feel psycho. Like I came across like a crazy person because I was so used to that. I thought about it with you the whole time I've been with you. I've never once thought, oh my God, where is he? Who's he talking to? Why hasn't he opened it? He's uploaded a story, but he hasn't called me back, whatever. Like I've never once felt that way, but because you've given me the space to feel my feels, do the things, and you've supported me in that. So I feel like if you're in a relationship where you are feeling those emotions, you either need to communicate it with their partner. If they're not going to open up and accept that and try and meet you in the middle, then probably not the one for you.
I remember as well when we were having like sort of talks about this and I remember communicating to you, you're like, we can do that. And I was like, you can ask for reassurance.
Oh, yes.
Because I remember at first when I was like, I know you needed it. Because at the start of a relationship, that you experienced a little bit of that.
Absolutely. Because I was so used to that. Was the way I was so used to relationships feeling anxious and heavy. This doesn't feel like that at all. We just straight up vibing together. This conversation is our whole relationship.
Yeah. But you also know that I'm like 100% committed to you.
Yeah.
And that I'm like deeply and truly love you as well. And like we've communicated that.
Yeah.
Like and talked about it.
Yeah.
But we did have like communications when I was like, okay, if you're ever feeling doubtful or you need reassurance, for example, or I have this trigger where at the moment, like I want to go through his phone, or I have this trigger right now where like I feel like he's going to leave me, or I have this trigger right now that maybe I'm not good enough, which has come up like a few times. And instead I remember saying to you, I'm like, you do know that you can ask me to be like, okay, I need to hear this from you. You're like, yeah, but like, isn't that needy? I'm like, absolutely not. And then I remember saying to you, I was like, hey, Chloe, I'd love to hear some love for you right now from you because I need it. And I want to celebrate it.
And I didn't know what to do.
Good. Yeah. And you're like, but that's not going to be authentic.
Yeah.
And then you said to me, I was like, well, I'd love to hear it anyway. Please tell me some love. And you were like, well, the reason I love you is because blah, 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 blah. And I was like, was that authentic? And you were like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, see.
And I remember because I was in the gym at the time and I had like such a bad, because I have been cheated on before. So I had a lot of jealousy issues and all that sort of stuff. And we're in the gym and of course, you beautiful, sexy man. So there's a lot of beautiful, sexy girls in the gym that we go to, and we go to the gym together. We don't actually train together. So, you know, if we don't talk to each other, nobody knows, right? And like girls are gawking at him and he's just not paying any attention. But that used to trigger me so bad. Like I used to, oh my God. But then I remember one day he's like, oh, if you ever triggered, like just tell me. And I was like, oh, it's really that easy. Like you make it so hard for yourself. Yet I'm like, hey, I feel really upset. I feel really anxious right now. Whatever I feel. Oh, love ya. Whatever. You say the things you say to me and I'm like, oh, life's good again.
I'm like, just ask me that you need it. And I'm like, babe, your booty's the best.
Even though every chick looks like a IFBB pro in the gym that we go to. And I'm like, been enjoying my social life, ATM.
Well, I think you're the sexiest. I'm committed to you, not anyone else. And I love you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about them. I remember just watching your face every time that I give you a big hug and a kiss. And you're like this, here. And you're like, stop kissing me in the gym. Don't stop.
Yeah,
stop.
But I love it. One more time so everybody else saw quickly. No, yeah, and it's funny. But you know what's so funny is now in the gym, I don't require that at all. Now I don't panic and wonder what room you're in the gym. And like when I verbalize that out loud, I'm like, bro, that sounds so crazy. But it's literally how I felt and whatever. But I think, like we said, being with someone that is happy to let you go through those motions, you can unpack that and go, oh, I actually don't need to feel that way. And I honestly don't think I've felt that way since, which is crazy.
We can grow together the best relationship ever.
Yeah.
If we're open to this stuff and understand that.
Absolutely.
You, them, relationship.
Yeah.
They got to figure it out themselves. They understand, you can support them, encourage them. It's like, that's just going to contribute back to the relationship.
Yeah.
I fucking love our relationship.
I love it too. It's so much fun. It's like hanging out all the time.
Yeah.
Best friends. He sometimes gets offended when I say that. I like this one and I want you to start with this one. It says how to get better at communicating when boyfriend avoids confrontation. I feel like Corey's got a long list of things you can do here.
Oh, it's actually like a real sort of hard question because from a girl's point of view, that's like where a lot of trust comes in because I sort of have to, like, from my perception as a guy, because I try to hold so much space for you when like you're crying and I'm always trying to make like you happy when something happens and you do cry. Yeah. And I try to allow you to express and like move through with everything. It's sort of like, okay, so how I deal with that is I need to withdraw. Like men just sort of need to just go into their cave for a smaller period of time. And as a girl, if you had a girl that like, I'm speaking for guys here, if you're in a position where you were like, oh God, I need to withdraw now. And the girl said, oh, do you need to withdraw for a while? Like, do you just need by yourself and figure everything out? Like, yeah, go. Like, I encourage you to go do that. Yeah. As a guy, you'd be like,
oh,
what?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oh my God. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Go withdraw.
Yeah.
Figure things in. Come back. I'm ready for love now.
Yeah. But I'm a bit like that, even from a female. I kind of need to do that. If we have an argument, I'm like, I need to think about it because I need to make sure that like, because I get a bit angry if I get upset and I just want to like say mean things. So I'm like, I need to go and stay and sit by myself for a second so that I don't react that way, because I don't mean to react that way. It's just what comes up and comes out of me.
And you got to know how each other like do that.
Yes.
But majority of the time I figured out for men, like it's probably the same thing for girls, but the reason that we feel like get angry, need to withdraw for whatever it is we either want to give love and it's getting blocked, or we want to receive love and there's a wall up there and we can't receive it. Well, that's getting blocked, or we want to give love and there's a wall and we're not getting through it. That's literally it. Majority of the time, men just want to be acknowledged, recognized. Like, even when they say something snarky or sarcastic for whatever it is, it's just an unconscious way of asking, can you please acknowledge me?
Yeah, I want a reaction.
Yeah, or it's just acknowledge me that I'm a stud. Like, like please, like it'd be something small like, I don't know, you're just talking about something because you fixed something, whatever it is, and you didn't get acknowledged. So then you say something snarky to get acknowledged, and she's like, "Why are you being mean to me?"
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just need you to tell me that I did good. So when dudes are sort of withdrawing, it's sort of, I would say from a girl's perspective, what could be really good is just noticing where he needs to be appreciated, and it could be something so small, and then just tell him, and then be like, okay, and support him, like, oh, you need this to withdraw, whatever, all good, like I love you, whatever, or just do this, like go, just put a really big smile on your face.
Yeah. And I feel like you also have to remember and notice, like, is it confrontation over a specific topic, or is it confrontation just to do with everything? And that, I think, if it's everything, that's okay. If it's a specific topic, then maybe that's something to actually have a proper chat about. But I think it depends, and it is hard, and that's what we bring it back to always, is like communication is the biggest thing ever. But you both have to be mature enough, like we said before, to view it as a relationship and talk about the relationship communication. No bias, no emotion, not getting angry. It's like a third person.
Yeah, for sure. And also, what was I going to say? Understanding like how to communicate. If anyone's listening right now, they want to get good at this, my friend Lee Ryan recommended to me the book Nonviolent Communication, and that is one of the best books to understand how to actually communicate to someone, because there's so many like techniques and things that you want to say or whatever, but there's certain questions that you can ask and encouragements, and expressing gratitude continuously for absolutely everything is like the best thing ever. And when I say it comes down to men, it's like, we need pats on the heads all the time. Just tell us we did good. We're after feedback for everything.
Yeah, I love it.
Like, oh, I cleaned the dishes.
I've never read that book.
You did good. You cleaned the dishes. Like, fuck yeah, I cleaned the dishes.
Yeah, I'm going to clean those dishes again tomorrow. And the next day.
Let me be a hero, please.
Oh, I'm going to love it. Okay, next one. What do you both do together throughout the week that's special / putting each other first? I like this. This is cute. I like putting you first. A bit too much sometimes, but I like it. We're working on it. It's a balance. I think, well, one, what I appreciate Corey, he gives me my space, which to me is also putting me first, because I need to be by myself sometimes. But then I think that comes back to the whole love language thing, because we both value quality time, and his is acts of service, and then mine is physical touch. He makes such a big effort to always hug me, kiss me, and all that sort of stuff. But then acts of service in terms of Corey, like if it's during the weekend, like he's eating at the table, I always make a big effort to like clean his dishes or do this or make the bed, and or it's only small things, but that's still acts of service. And what Corey has also taught me is like, just freaking ask. Like, ask, what would you like me to do that makes you feel appreciated? I remember the first time that he asked me that, I was like, I don't even know. Like, because I genuinely didn't know at all. But I think in terms of what we do to put each other first, we call it gym coffee breakfast, because it's legit what we do.
Yes.
We go to the gym.
TCB, baby.
Yeah, that's legit. It's a thing now. We like want a gym coffee breakfast every day, but we go to the same gym. We don't train together. Go get a coffee after, because we both just love coffee and love sitting together, drinking coffee. So do that. But yeah, quality time. We don't like do a whole lot.
We just enjoy being in each other's presence.
Yeah.
And being present.
Yeah.
And I think like one of the things is like with your job and with my job, just with our own lifestyles, because it's definitely dependent, is we just love our jobs.
Yeah.
So much, and we're so committed to
We're married.
That. Yeah, married to our jobs. And we give our absolute all to that. When and it's like at normal or at basis or at ground zero, whatever you call it.
Yep.
we just work 24/7.
Oh my God.
Like
2 a.m. Saturday night. We'd be like typing away.
A late night for us, Chloe, is 10 p.m.
No, I'm not even joking. We went to bed at 9:30 one time and both were like, oh, this is so shit. Let's never do that again.
Yeah, I know, right, Emma. 7:30, please. And I can't remember what I was saying.
Giving to each other during the week. That's fine.
Yeah.
There's a fly on my head.
Where were we at? We're at somewhere. Hold on. Because that was a really good point that I wanted to make than what we do. About being present. So at Baseline, we're consistently working all the time. So when we are together, it's like an excuse to actually chill out and recharge.
Yes.
And we understand that if we're working too much, that's just going to be detrimental to our business, because obviously as a business owner, you're your most important asset to your business. You got to invest in you.
Yeah.
So we make sure that we have time to just talk and stuff. And I genuinely love talking to you because I respect all the things you do. I think you're brilliant and super smart. You've got a good business mindset. Yeah, you do. And you are really aware of your feelings and emotions, and you give it all to your clients and stuff like that. So I learn a lot from you as well. And then because I coach people and all this stuff, we talk about our relationships so much. Yeah, we do. And we love talking about it.
We love telling people about it. So I'm so excited you guys wanted to hear about it, because I was like, shit, yeah, we get to talk about us again.
So I think, how we really give to each other is honestly just presence. And then as a guy, understanding that she needs dates. I wouldn't ever have to go out on a date. I don't care. I would never, I wouldn't have to fill my own cup up.
But he does for me.
Yeah, I love doing it for you.
Yeah, I know.
But for myself personally, I wouldn't have to go out on a date. I could just stay at home, work, cuddle, hang out, do coffees, go for walks, and
go to the gym,
touch each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and go to the gym. I'd be completely satisfied. However, I love that you like going out so much. And
again, talking about, we were talking about with the sex thing before, it's it makes me feel pretty. I love getting dressed up. It's as we know as females, it's a full ordeal. I shower, I shave my legs, I smell nice. It's just a vibe. It's so good.
And as a guy, I can say it's the best when you're feeling sexy because I love sex and I love you when you're naked. So, and feeling
Mum,
sexy.
I'm so sorry.
But I do. And I cherish that. I cherish it so much. And if I want that from you, I understand that the dates and everything is the most important. And I love it when you just feel loved, because then I feel received as well. And you have a big enough heart to receive me for everything and give me all the love that I need. And guys, I cannot explain how good it is when your partner is just oh my God, you're so sexy. I'm like, yes. Oh my God, you hold so much space for me. You're the best and you're my hero. I'm like, oh yes. Oh my God, our relationship's so good because you made it that way. And she gives me all this credit. I'm like, oh,
yeah, baby.
Oh, give me some more. Give me some more of that. Literally, woo. And it's the best feeling in the world.
Thanks. I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good, that topic brings me on to the next question, which I think is going to be really good. And it says, what are the challenges to being with someone in the similar field of work, tips? And then somebody messaged me yesterday asking how we both balance working on social media and being on our phones all the time. And I would just like to start by saying we haven't mastered the art yet, and we probably never will. But to be honest with you, we've had a lot of conscious conversations in the past couple of weeks about we've both done it to each other. We're at the table eating or having coffee, whatever, and one of us will pick up the phone, and the next minute you've replied to 7 emails, signed up a bunch, someone on your course, you've done this, you've done that, oh babe, look at this, and then it's that was just our present time wanting to do stuff, and we both do it to each other. And I think we've had that conversation of we would just really appreciate the next time we do this stuff, let's not look at our phones or whatever. And it's I think, as Corey said before, one of the things that we've done really well, we've held each other accountable to turning off the emails, turning off the phone, not getting in the TikTok scroll. We make the quality time, whether it's during the week or on the weekend, whenever we see each other, majority of the time it's on the weekend, to actually switch off. Because to be honest with you, before I met you, I worked all weekend. I did. I was Saturday was Sunday, then I'd work Saturday, go out Saturday night, work Sunday morning, whatever. And it's it's not sustainable for anyone. And like you say, from a business perspective, you are your most important asset. So you can't keep doing that to yourself, because you will put yourself into the ground. You will burn out. It's standard. And that's what Corey freaking coaches people on 24/7 about. But, back to that actual question after I ranted, what are the challenges do you think to being with someone in a similar field?
Probably comparing. To be completely honest.
Yeah.
You definitely...
You did this last night.
Yeah. Well, I say from not so much. That was very healthy.
Oh, no, it's good. I think it's a good thing.
One. From other relationships that I've been in.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, one of the biggest things for me to overcome was it's been
social media.
Competitive on social media with certain things. You this, you that, because there was a fear there with not trust.
Yeah.
There was a fear out of a lack of trust for certain things, because the more attention possibly meant that person would be tempted for something else. And that went like both ways. And it was so toxic because I've experienced that so many times.
Yeah.
So getting into this relationship and understanding like with your job and trusting you and just being like, well, if, you know, I'm the most high quality, like I believe like if I invest in myself and make myself the most high quality guy and I want to attract a high quality girl, those things are going to have to come up.
Yeah,
you have to deal with those. And however, with myself that I created, using that as an example, was I believe I'm like the most high quality guy out.
Yeah.
Like straight up.
I believe that too.
And 100% I believe it. And I'm so confident in that. So I don't care about it anymore.
No, I don't even think it's...
I want you like on a social media thing and our jobs and stuff to literally...
thrive.
Yeah, to be the absolute best at it.
Yeah.
Like, and one thing that I think is really good for a guy is because you're so good at it with the social media and all the stuff that you have and everything on there and balancing both the relationships and that is it holds me accountable as well, which is like the best for me because I want to be the best continuously and like you working on that with our different jobs and stuff like that and you progressing and influencing and stuff is it's like, cool, well, that's going to force me to continually like progress and upgrade because if I didn't have a good mindset around it, then I would start to degress.
Yeah. I think like even in terms of that's an interesting question because we are in similar fields, but it's like Corey's is much more men's mindset and it's high achieving like entrepreneurs. Mine is like beginners in the health and fitness industry. So even though we're both coaches, we both do like social media part-time, it's not similar. And I actually said to someone, it was quite a few years ago now, so I wonder if it would be different now that I didn't think that I could date anyone in the fitness industry because I am so competitive and I don't like people doing better than me. So I'm a lot better at it now and I've done a lot more work at that, but I don't know that if you were a PT as well or you were online coach or whatever, how I would go about that. And that's just me being honest. Like I actually don't know until if I was ever in this situation. But yeah, I don't know.
But it works so good with us. It's like the
It
best
does.
thing ever.
But because
we've aligned our schedules for our coaching together.
We did.
It's
He does, group men's coaching on a Wednesday and I've just started female coaching. So I was like, shit, yeah, I'm just going to put it on a Wednesday because then it didn't matter to me. And then it means that we get more quality time together, which again is what we value the most. And you just have to really make sure that you're both on top of it and having conversations about it. Because I said one thing to a girlfriend yesterday. She does the same thing with her partner. We have a joint Google Calendar and we literally invite each other to dates. And originally I was like, this ain't it. But I was like, no, this is it. This is it. Best. Motherfucker, yes. Yes, I will accept that date. Yes, going. Yes, not maybe, not no, I am going to that date.
Do I need heels or no heels?
Yeah, he's so good though. He's so good. He's like, you will need X amount of pairs of shoes. You will need a jacket. You know, I'm like, you are the love of my life. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think one thing that's really important as well, that like what you get out of communicating and knowing yourself was like, I remember just in regards to this with our work and everything and balancing our relationship as well, was I was like, I really value forgiveness because I know as a dude, sometimes we just forget shit. Like it's a blessing and a curse for us. It was used like it's part of our brain in old school tribal days when we'd be hunting to get to sleep and have a good sleep and get up and hunt tomorrow and not get like worried about a bear coming to eat you. You just got to forget about it.
Yeah.
And then for us in the relationship, there'll be times where I just like either forget about stuff, whatever it is, or just being in a certain position is I'm like, if I'm not forgiven for stuff, I'll hold resentment. I remember communicating that a lot. Like,
yeah, you did from the very beginning.
I was like, I value forgiveness so much.
Literally, no, that was one of the first conversations we had when after he slid in. Yeah, because after you slid in with what are your values and morals, and I was like, other than the basic shit like loyalty and respect and all those things we went in, and then that was the first thing you said. You said, obviously at the time I didn't know you, so I didn't understand to the extent how you felt about that. But yeah, you were very open and communicating that to me from the very beginning.
Yeah, and if I do anything sort of stupid, forget whatever it is that means to you, I get forgiven straight away and then like encouraged to do something else. I just want to give you so much more love.
Yeah.
Like so much more. Every time I'm forgiven, if something happens and she's like, that's okay, like I forgive you. You don't really say that, but you're like, oh no, like.
No, yeah, he just because I don't get angry at you
or you get frustrated sometimes and I'll communicate like, hey, just so you know, I really value forgiveness, and you're just like, okay, I can let this go. Yeah, I actually can. I can let it go. And then for me, I'm like, oh my God, I just feel so much love right now.
And I think that was for me on the topic of that, like something really hard to let go of, because I was so like, I could for so many years.
Thing for you, right?
Oh my God, I don't want to admit that I'm wrong. Like, I hate that. So my sister tags me in the meme where the guy's like with the puffer, and it's like when you have to admit you're wrong, and he's like, like he's having like my sister. She's like, but I used to be so bad, and it wasn't till the first like probably like pretty serious relationship I had when I was 18, like the first person I probably loved, if you would call it that. That's what he said to me. He was like, you are so bad at admitting that you're wrong, and I was like, no, I'm not. Literally me just not admitting that I was wrong, like shocking. And from then I like have actively, and I still do have to actively work on that, and I'm really bad at letting things go and all that sort of stuff, but I try because it's important to you and I care about you. And at the end of the day, like, am I really going to get caught up? And it's the conversation you have. Am I going to get caught up about something, or am I going to, okay, fucking cop this on the chin and go, Chloe, doesn't really matter that much. No, all right, move forward. Let's go. We're moving forward now. As much as it's hard sometimes.
What's been your favorite part of our relationship?
Everything. No, that it's so fun. Like, I feel like for me, my favorite part has been that I have not been anxious the entire time. Other than like the initial bit at the beginning when you meet somebody new and
the normal old school triggers, gym stuff
happened, whatever. That was like very new, but like I actually thought about it yesterday and I was like, dude, this is the best. Like, I feel like no matter what I've got going on, things that in previous parts of my life that I've been ashamed of, or things I've not been able to say, or things I've been scared of, whatever, like I feel so comfortable and confident being able to just tell you that. And that's very rare to me because I've never been able to lean. And this is what you said to me in the beginning of the relationship too. He's like, one day you'll be able to lean on me. And I'm like, righto. And in my head I was like, fuck no. And now I'm like, yeah, come over here, leaning post. Thank you so much.
She's talking about emotionally lean on too.
Yes.
What for you was like the biggest limiting belief, and what was like the actual experience that happened like in the relationship for you? Like, you had a limiting belief around guys, like, oh, guys like this, whatever. But then there was like a moment in the relationship where you were like, ooh, like, can you think of anything like specifically?
The limiting belief was that I was not worthy of good quality love, someone that actually cared about me.
When did you start to feel like, what was the specific experience or time, whether we were sitting outside?
I do remember. Corey's birthday was in January and I took him to Noosa because that's one of his favourite places, right? And I'm a bit of a stress head. When I have things organised, things don't go on time, and then I get really just frustrated, right? And instead of like, I'm planning this for his birthday, and on the night that we went to dinner, I was just getting a bit stressed, getting a bit frustrated. Like, don't ask me why I did that. I did. But instead of him getting frustrated at me, he just looked at me and goes like, I know that you're reacting this way because you care so much about me and you want everything to be perfect and whatever, and that's cool. Everything's gonna be fine and we're gonna go. And I was just like, oh my God, he's not getting mad at me, whatever. He loves me for all of me. And that brings me to my next point was, I remember he didn't know. I have always my whole life, again, listening, have been told I'm too much, I'm too loud, I'm too crazy, I'm too this. And Corey one day to me said, but Chloe, you're just the right amount of enough. Makes me want to cry saying that.
Yeah, I get emotional.
Yeah, I'm going to cry too. Oh, this is too much. You're not allowed to cry. Wow. Oh. And I'm like, yeah, he said that. Oh, no, if you cry, I'm going to cry. And I was like, that was like the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life, because any relationship I've ever been in, any male interaction, and I haven't, to be honest with you, like a lot of girls I speak to, haven't had any good amount of male reaction. So meeting Corey and then meeting all of his like 11 out of 10 friends and all the men that he coaches and all these people, I'm like, there's so many good fucking men here right now. I'm like, woohoo! This is the best. But like, when you said that to me, I literally died inside. And I've returned now, but it took me a couple of days.
Yeah. Well, I do think as well, like just in your position, a lot of men would find you intimidating.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Which is why they try to like shut you down.
Yeah. And for any boss ladies listening, and I do know a fair few of them, it's okay. You will find it. You will find your person, because the right person will step up to the bar and be like, that's my lady. She's doing all of those things. They will not feel intimidated by it. And I, at the time, till I met you, I honestly didn't believe that.
I've got a mission to take over the world and I'm committed to it.
Yeah.
And you're on a mission to take over the world. I can't not have a girl that's not also committed to taking over the world.
And I didn't even realize that until I have a really good friend that I went to high school with. He lives in Sydney and he is awesome. He's so smart. He's so on the ball. He's incredible. And I remember one day he was saying to me, like, randomly, how are you going with dating? Like, I feel like a lot of guys would be scared by you. And I remember being like, scared? What do you mean? Like, but now I know. And I've definitely experienced that in dating situations. Guys don't like, I have made more money than previous partners. I've been more successful than previous partners. That does not bother me whatsoever.
Yeah, but for guys, we value ourselves at the success that we have.
Yeah.
So it's like very hard.
This one, I really like this one, and I really want you to answer this. It says, how to know when they're the one you're supposed to be with?
Oh, good question. So we're just talking about this beforehand. I believe that you don't, and that comes out of a reflection of yourself. Like, when you're working on yourself and you're doing whatever it is and you want to have the one, you have to sort of just be committed to the relationship. Understanding that you're in a position like a relationship is going to help you grow, and you need to get good. I believe that everyone needs to learn the skills in a relationship. Like being a partner is like, it's a skill set. And you need to get good at it.
Yeah.
And you need to practice that. So I believe this majority speaking to men, getting into relationships, 100% committed to the relationship to practice it. So in that way, you're not touching anything. So in that way, you're getting good at the relationship that you're in now, or you're going to be really good at the most future relationship, because you're going to need to show up as best as possible in a relationship. And if you haven't got any experience, it's going to come back and kick you in the ass.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I do with a lot of people that I coach, and this is extremely important, you can move that around as much as you like. Woohoo! It's good to go. Hello. One thing that you can do, which I believe is really important, it's funny because you did this unconsciously, but is to literally write out like your dream partner and write that down.
I did.
And what is really important to put in there is put things that you would like to dislike about the person, their weaknesses.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah, that's what I did. I did all these things that I don't like about. I literally wrote down like...
Too fabulous.
Yeah.
Too hot.
Too sexy.
Talks too much.
I literally remember having on mine like, I don't care if they've had a bad relationship with their old man, because I believe that my masculine energy, I've worked on it so much that I can hold space for that, which is literally what's happened in this relationship. Yeah. But understanding, like writing down all the weaknesses, all the bad things, all the good things, what they're going to look like, their traits, their values, gives you the best position to when you're finding someone is asking them those questions, which is exactly what I did for you when I was looking for a relationship, because I didn't want to muck around.
Mate, so you basically sent me a Google form. Honestly, now that I think about it,
please.
I was honestly like here for it though, because like every other person I spoke to, again, you are 7 years older than me, so you've done a lot more work on yourself and a lot more maturing, and as we know, it takes men that little bit longer. But yeah, you were very like open and from the beginning, and originally it scared me, but now I'm like, nah, fuck it, because even though I'm 22, I also don't have time to waste either, and I honestly don't really believe in just wasting your time half-assing a relationship. But I think I did that, like we say, I actually was cute. I rewrote what I wrote in my manifestation journal to Corey for Valentine's Day, which is kind of cute, because I'm so adorable. But yeah, like getting clear on, even if you don't write it down, because a lot of people don't like to do that, if you don't write it down, like getting clear on what you want, and if there's anything that relationships do, they definitely teach you what you don't want. So getting clear on like the other relationships that you had and going, okay, well, what in those things did I like, and what would I, or what can I tolerate? Because I also think that there's things you have to tolerate sometimes. Not
the weaknesses. Yeah.
Not everybody's perfect, and then what is an absolute no for you? What is an absolute red flag, and what is absolute like? I mean, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so in terms of that question, how to know when they're the one, you don't. You really don't. And what was so funny, and as we said before, like so many people got offended when we were both like, oh, this may not be forever, but nothing is certain in life. Nothing. Your life is not even certain.
And there's so many like the ones that people can, there's never like the one. There's always people that'll fit that role of like whatever you want. And I think it's quite like reassuring, like being in the position where it's like as well, having the skill set for myself personally, because I went through some pretty big breakups. Yeah. And I intentionally went through the breakups of being like, okay, I need to learn this skill as well. So I know how to go through a breakup. Yeah. And I know that even if like we broke up or whatever it is, I'd be able to deal with that. Yeah. I'd be able to cope with that. And then I'd be able to move on to someone else, which is like completely fine. And it's so freeing being in that position and understanding that like, cool, you may not be the one, but currently at the moment for everything that we're doing, it's like, well, I love the relationship and I'm not attached in certain ways. However, I am looking forward to the future because it is like so good at the moment. And if we can keep this up and we're both committed to the relationship and we're both holding each other at a high standard and supporting each other when we're down, it's like, we'll hope this lasts as long as it can. And
what's so beautiful about that is because prior to this relationship, everyone I've had, I've been so scared to lose because one, I hadn't done enough work on myself. I wasn't stable in myself, but that other person didn't know how to hold space for me, and I probably on my own part didn't communicate that to them very well. What makes me love you even more is that I know that even if it didn't last forever, or if things did fall apart or we did whatever happens, like you have been such an impactful part of my journey, and I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful that we both know like that we would be fine, because it means that we're both so secure that we're choosing to be in a relationship with each other. And that makes me even more certain that you do love me and you do want to be with me. So I think that's a really important part to know as well.
Yeah, when initially you'd think that that'd be so scary.
Yeah.
Because, oh, I have to commit.
And like I said, on the post that you made
wet
for me
shoes.
and on the thing that I shared as well, people were like, oh my God, what? And I'm like, doesn't mean we can't talk about future plans. But at the same time, if you got offered a job overseas, I'm like, I'd want you to take it and run and take it and do whatever you wanted to do. And I wouldn't want you to slow down for me if I couldn't come or whatever. Like, your life is to be lived and you are not allowed. I will not let you live it for somebody else. That ain't it. That ain't it.
It's all just support and encouragement anyway.
Absolutely. What else have we got in this? Do you want to have a look? There's so many. I'm 22 and I've never been in a relationship, but I feel like the day will never come and I want it. There was lots of ones. So many people saying that. They're like, I've either given up on dating. Someone's like, I've been single for 4 years. I read an 8-year one. Someone's like, I seriously struggle to meet people, anyone. Meet anyone because I'm on night shift. Yeah, there's so many.
There's some hard ones. But one thing that I can say is you have to be in it to win it. So for me, just in my example, in case of meeting you, was I was like, okay, what's my goals? What's my life? What's my things? How much energy can I dedicate into meeting someone, working on myself and doing stuff, whether that be going out and talking to people, whether that be messaging people, because we've got phones these days. Like it's so handy.
Yeah, but I'm not offended. Despite dating apps, I don't love them.
Right. But for some people,
they do work.
They're necessary.
Yeah.
Like some people's like work life. Like for mine, I'm like, I can't not if it's not Instagram or a
And also,
I like going to bed at 7:30.
And because we don't go to bars, we don't go clubbing, we don't do any of those things. And it's like, for anyone else listening, your future husband ain't going to be in the club. Okay. I don't know why you think you're going to find him on the dance floor at 3 a.m. That ain't the future husband that you want. So maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, but you just got to be willing to talk to people and put that energy in. But however, you got to make yourself desirable enough to the person. And if you understand as well, like that's why I do think writing out like your dream person is so handy, because then it's like, okay, if I know what this is and I want that, I'm going to have to be good enough to receive that.
Yeah,
And then, so before you even get into the relationship, it's like now you've got a task. So instead of just worrying about all the time of, oh, when I'm going to a relationship, do I deserve one? I'm never going to meet anyone, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, no, I'm going to meet someone and I'm going to meet this damn person. But in the meantime, I got to make myself like a valuable enough reflection to call that person in.
And what he means by that is not necessarily on the outside. He means on the inside. You do the inner work. You do all the work for you. You find your purpose and passion and all those sorts of things. And I think what's so funny in terms of what you said about that was, I wish, guys, I could find... I've like screenshot it, whatever, somewhere. But I've got what I wrote down in that journal. And I wrote that so long ago. And I remember writing it thinking, this is a lot of shit. Like, whatever, writing it down. Thought about it. Never really thought about it. Closed the book. I found it when I was moving. And what's so funny about, I had kept playing the woe is me, the why card. Why do I keep meeting shitty people in my own... I was attracting that 100% because I did not love myself enough. I did not hold myself to a higher standard. Even though I wanted that, I didn't know how to overcome a lot of the things that I was going through. And it wasn't until the last person I saw for a very brief time prior to Corey that at the end of that, I was like, that's it. I'm done. I am not choosing to settle for any of this shit anymore. It really was. It was like, I'm done.
You felt with your dad too.
I did. It was with some family relationships that I had, I was like, I'm also done with that too. I cannot put any more of my time and emotional energy into feeling constantly hurt, upset, let down. Because if I'm letting someone in my family do that to me, I'm going to let other people do that to me as well. So I cut all that off. And within weeks, this guy rolled into my DMs and here we are. And I'm like, that's the world's way. I've just been like, here you go, man. Like I had done the inner work, but there was just that little, and I still have it. I've still got to do it, as we all do. Personal development is a never ending journey. There's always things to work on. But as you said, getting clear on what you want and not settling for anything less than that, it's boundaries, it's self-respect. And it's so important. Imagine how many more positive and long-lasting relationships there would be if people held themselves to the standard that they actually deserved.
So what are the things, like the differences in this relationship compared to other relationships that are happening within the relationship in terms of like the actual things, which sort of allow you to be confident?
It's the actions. Because I've been cheated on, because a lot of things had happened to me personally when I was younger, I did not believe one word that people say, because...
Me too, by the way, guys. I've been cheated on.
Oh yes, him also. Both of us, we both got those issues. Yeah, which sadly a lot of people have, so many. But Corey originally saying all those really nice things to me at the beginning, obviously he didn't know because we hadn't chatted about the time, but I was like, that means a load of crap to me because you have to show up. But from the very, very beginning, and what I love about you so much is that you are always a man of your word. You are so integral to your word. You always have been. But what I said I appreciate about that is I know you always haven't been. I know that you've put in the work to do that. But no matter what you've said to me, no matter what you've said you're going to do, you always do it. If it's on time, that's one thing or the other, but you always let me know. You always communicate that to me. The action always matches. And I've previously been in relationships with other people where they've said all the great things and they've said, oh, I'm going to do this, or I feel this way, I'm going to do this, but they never bloody did any of it. And I know a lot of girls that struggle with that, and guys too. But yeah, like anyone that I'd seen was like, oh, I really care about you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, right? But for instance, I was seeing a guy that lived on the Gold Coast when I lived in Brisbane, and he would always say like, but I just don't have enough time to drive up and see you. But it was fine if I drove down to see him. He would never meet me in the middle, but his words were always like, yeah, I care about you so much, la-di-da-da-da. But it's like, no, that ain't it. And also, as bringing back to that point before of you just allowing that space for me to be as I am, that's been massive for me because a lot of people sadly haven't done that for me.
But we're here now.
We're vibing.
I like that. We got any other questions?
We got so many more. Depends how long you want to keep going.
We'll do a couple more.
A lot of communication ones. Oh, I really like this one. How to not feel guilty when doing your own thing and or having goals separate from the relationship.
Oh, I think you can answer this one really
That's fire. It's hard. It is hard, definitely. And I think you just have to get clear, as Corey was speaking about before, on what you want in your own life. Because as we say, like a relationship is two people walking separate paths just next to each other. You're not on each other's path. That ain't it. It is your life. You still need, you smiling at me for.
That ain't it. Fuck it up, my guy.
Fuck it up, my guy. That ain't it. I'm so sorry for everyone's ears. That is so painful. And I used to feel very guilty, but the point that I got to in the previous relationship before Corey was that it's like I keep sacrificing all of my own things for somebody else and it's still not working. I go by years, by weeks, by whatever, and I'm like, I haven't done anything for myself. I feel like crap, and this person still isn't giving to me, right? So having those boundaries, that self-respect for myself was massive. And from the very moment meeting you, I was like, this is my job, this is what I enjoy doing, I like to be by myself, all those sorts of things. So I don't necessarily think I feel guilty for them now because I communicated that to you from the very beginning. In terms of having goals separate from the relationship, you should have goals separate from a relationship. Like it's important, I think, as we spoke about, to have goals together in terms of whether you want to save money, buy a house, have kids, have a dog, whatever you want to do in your relationship. But you need to have your own goals because you need to be your own person. And the original reason you were attracted to that person in the beginning is because you were doing you. So it's just important to make sure that even though it's hard and it's guilty, you still try and participate in those things, whether it's in sport or, it's a hobby or whatever it may be. Still really important to do that in order to fill your own cup up so you can be the best partner in your relationship.
And you got to be ready to have the relationship because it is your responsibility in the relationship to support the other person for all their goals. If you get jealous or you're not committed to whatever it is, then that's just going to cause so much resentment.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, and as we spoke about before, whether it's jealousy, whatever it may be, it can be easy to be jealous and upset and whatever. But then I don't think you're mature enough to be in a relationship if you're going to get jealous at somebody else for doing well.
You literally have a moral obligation. To support.
And like at the end of the day, what makes me really upset is people will stay in relationships for years because they're more comfortable being in that than they would be just to be by themselves. And it's like, being by yourself is uncomfortable.
One thing that we do really well is we hold each other up. We hold each other to such a high standard. Yeah, we do. So anytime that, let's say for example, because you've been self-sacrificing before and I've been there in position as well, but because you've been self-sacrificing before, you've been in positions when like you either start to self-sacrifice yourself in our relationship for me and I'm like, hang on a minute. Yeah. Like, are you doing this for me in this relationship too much? Do you need to focus more on yourself? And just being aware of that and having the communication, you can hold each other. And sometimes people in the other relationship, I know that it can be quite comforting when you notice the other person self-sacrificing themselves for you because you're like, oh, they love me, they're attached to me. Yeah. But being in that position where you're like, fuck that, that's them not being the best version of themselves. Yeah. You start sacrificing yourself and doing too much. I'll say like, are you doing too much for me? Are you doing too much for your friends? Are you doing too much for people in your business? Because you're self-sacrificing yourself right now. And I don't want to be like around you or communicating to you like when you're going to be like this. It's hard to give you love and it's hard to receive love.
And because then I'm like, I'm resentful of you, even though it has nothing to do with you, because like seeing you is my last straw. And I'm like, I'm seeing everyone else and then I'm like, I need to go see you because you are my boyfriend and I want to spend time with you. But then in the end, I'm just so done and my tank is just so drained that I can't.
Yeah, but it's also like at the times where, because you've got a big heart and you just want to keep giving to me and you'll just like give to my friends, give to this, give to that, whatever it is. And I'm like, sometimes like even I'll hold you accountable and be like, you can stop giving.
Yeah, you did. When I committed to a few things on a weekend of driving back and from Brisbane, whatever, and I was like so done, busy work week, had family come stay, and Corey was like, you can say no. And that was all he said, and I was like, oh my God, he's right.
I'll come to your house tonight, mate.
Yeah, and that's another thing I think as well, meeting in the middle, and one thing that I didn't know how to communicate at the beginning was like, I come here quite a lot, which I enjoy more anyway. But when I needed you to come to mine, or I just was like so dead, I didn't know how to say, but then I would get here and I would be like so overwhelmed, like a little bit pissed off at him, but like I can't be angry at him because he didn't know.
Yeah.
If I say, hey babe, it's so fine, I'll come to yours he thinks I'm fine to come to his house.
Yeah, I'll literally.
Oh yeah, cool babe, I'll cook dinner, sounds great. And then I get here and I'm an asshole. He's like, what happened to you? What's wrong with
Barbara?
you?
But no, seriously, there's like, and being in the guy's role, I have to like be so aware of. Literally, you'll say, no, it's fine, I'll just come to your house.
Yeah.
No, it's fine, it's going to be easier to go to yours. No, it's fine, like, don't even worry about staying in mine. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, we're going to your house tonight. Or we're going to your house here.
Yeah.
I'm coming around. Like, no, it's going to be easier. I'm like, I don't care if it's easier.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you actually
But I don't
need
think for other people that don't have partners, it may be because you're not the average man. So I think you are very, very evolved in terms of your emotional maturity for someone that's your age. So I think for people that don't have partners like that in themselves, you do need to be stronger at setting those boundaries and communicating that to your partner.
Well, it's also as well as understanding as well, communicating to your partner. Like if you're someone who has a big heart and you do like to give, hey, sometimes I'm going to give too much and I need you to be aware of it. It looks like this.
Yeah.
And we've communicated about that. And I know when you're giving too much. And I'm like, and you can feel it in your gut and your heart anyway. I'm like, you're giving too much and we need to go to yours. And you're like, no.
Yeah.
We'll go to yours, whatever. I'm like, it's time to go. And then we get to yours, we get in your bed at your house. You've done your stuff. You had your shower. You're in bed. You're all clean and I give you a cuddle and you're like, oh, thank God we're here.
And I think it took me a couple of times of screwing that up in order to learn, and because as humans we just learn the hard
and
way.
We're still not the best at it, but we're getting there.
No, and I think like that's the whole point though. We're like on the ride together, having fun, messing up, forgiving each other and moving forward.
Oh yeah, that forgiveness, baby.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
That gives me love bonus, that does. You've forgiven me? Oh
this
my
one,
God.
I reckon is going to be the last one because it's something that I see all the time and it absolutely just shits me. Expectations on social media in a relationship. I saw someone share a story like 3 days ago, maybe a week ago. They were like, oh, I think it's, I can't even think of what the word is. I don't think it's trustworthy. Your partner's not trustworthy if he follows attractive girls and likes their photos. What's your opinion on that?
Oh yeah, that's such like a good one.
That's petty to me. I don't like if you follow hot chicks, I'm like, fuck yeah, she's hot too. Double tap.
Yeah, but
like,
you're like hype queen. So you super hype everybody up. On your Instagram page, sometimes I'll be like, yeah, Chloe's hyping me up. And then I'll see you just hyping everyone up. And I'm like, oh. Like, oh, it's not just me getting hype.
Hey, babe, it's how I made my job. So we're gonna move on from that.
But it just depends on how the other person feels. Like sometimes
okay.
unconsciously, like definitely like there's parts in our relationship where I've seen like good looking people on Instagram and I've liked it. And I'm like, I've actually got a partner. I'm going to unlike that because...
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. We never had this conversation. So
we haven't. And there's sometimes I've been like, I'm going to unlike that because that was just unconscious of me going, oh, pretty girl, like that.
Yeah.
Other times with friends and other people hyping them up, it's great. But, you know, it's trusting the intuition and stuff within the other person comparing on social media. But even in regards to as a guy, like I think I talk about this all the time to Chloe's one thing as a guy is that what we need acknowledgement and we need respect. What we need gratitude for so much is that we unconsciously get triggered like in I wouldn't say a sexual way, but in a lustful way to other girls.
Yeah, okay.
And we can't help it. You know, I use them like, it's literally like if you are starving, you're a week fasted and you see the most ripest, delicious fruit bowl ever. You're gonna be like, oh my God.
I reckon if it was a cardboard box, you'd go for it as well.
I need to eat that. Now that's just what happens in men's brains at that level all of the time because of testosterone, where it's any pretty girl on social media, anyone, anywhere else, whatever it is. And it just averts your attention.
And I also think that social media hasn't helped that because girls, porn, that has been so accessible. All, at literally the touch of your fingers,
it's jammed
right
in
there.
your face.
OnlyFans, all that sort of stuff. So it's there all the time. That's why I think people can't commit to relationships because of online dating.
Yeah. So what
I'll
we
just
do
find
is,
another one.
yeah, but it's just the sexualization of everyone. But as guys, like we're unconsciously always going to get triggered at that. Oh my God, whether it's a pretty someone, whatever it is, an ass on Instagram, you'd be like, holy shit. Like as guys, we can't help that. It's a booty. Oh my God. And it just, boom, it's going to go. So I understand that when I'm getting those triggers, then I take the responsibility to ask you, hey, I've got some serious sexual energy right now. Can I take you on a date? Can I do something? Because I value you the most. I mean, you're looking pretty and sexy. That fills my cup up way more than any of that stuff. And I can ask that in you because I trust you. And just one more thing on that. If we got appreciation, if men got appreciation from their partners, they like, this would make me feel so much love. If, for example, we're getting triggered, whatever it is, and we're like, oh, fuck, like that thing. Why am I liking that? And being aware of our intuition. And from the girl, she goes, I appreciate that you still choose me and all of these things over all of your triggers. As a guy, it's like we would melt.
I think about that all the time.
We fight that battle like all the time.
No, I think about it all the time purely because of the gym that we go to. I'm like, there are so many hot girls here, like so hot, way bigger boobs than me, like all that stuff that men, like you say, originally are triggered by. And I think about that all the time. And then every time I get like a little bit insecure about it, but I'm like, you know what? He still chooses my difficult ass.
You're my fruit bowl, babe. And you're the best fruit bowl.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm not... Oh my God, I love that.
But if there was if you ever expressed appreciation on that, like...
Yeah, I don't think I like this. I'm like, we've never had this conversation either, which I think I kind of like.
Well, I explained the concept a couple of times. But not like on this detail.
And not in regards to social media either.
Yeah, not regards to social media at all. So like even for example, if we're swiping on social media, like say if I got appreciation for this and like I was like, oh, just me unfollowed someone, or if I had a hot girl keep on scrolling, or I stopped and had a look and then kept on scrolling, you're like, oh, thank you for like, you know, just not paying attention to that, whatever it is. For me as a guy, I'm like,
or when I see that he doesn't, I do actually, I've never actually outwardly given you the appreciation for it, but when people, like when girls comment shit on your post or like when they DM you, like you just don't open it. And I'm like, I was like in my head, I'm like, oh, that's so nice. But I've never actually said it. So I'm like, yeah, that gives me something to work with moving forward as well. I think though, what you have to remember too, and I know a lot of females who are really insecure, is you are allowed to be somewhat attracted to other people outside of the relationship. It doesn't mean you want a relationship with them. It doesn't mean you want to sleep with them. Other people are attractive. And when you date an attractive person, when you're with an attractive person, they are bound to be attracted to other people and they are bound to attract attractive people. So it's also getting clear on that and understanding like that's okay. And that was something that took me such a long time. And I think I'm grateful for you because you always give me so much love in the way that I need it. And that's because, again, to anyone listening, Corey always consciously asks me, how will I feel loved and what can he do to give me love? So because he gives it in the way that I need it, I feel love from him, which means I do not feel any form of, or maybe not, I feel a little bit, but not how I used to, any form of jealousy, because that used to like overwhelm me. Yeah. Well,
I think a little bit's healthy.
I do too. I think a little bit's healthy. It does.
Yeah.
Well, it's like,
and it's like, I care about this person.
Yeah.
You can appreciate that. Like, oh my God, I'm getting jealous right now. I appreciate that because I care about this person so much.
Yeah.
And wow, they're like 100% committed to me, even though all these temptations and all this other stuff in the world. And then they're here.
Yeah.
Which is the best.
But I think from what I'm gathering about that question, expectations on social media, I know a lot of girls get offended if their partners don't post about them. So I'm assuming that that's where that question actually is coming from. I liked the way that question went down that path. But like in terms of that, do you think that that's just a communication thing? Like, because we've spoken about that.
Man, I'll rustle some feathers here because it depends. So if you communicate to your partner, I love getting social media affection. It's a legit thing. It's public.
Yeah.
People, it's social media affection. Chloe loves it.
I love it. I do.
She loves it.
I love it. I'm like, yeah, post about me. Tell everyone how hot I am. Thanks, bye.
She posted a thing on like my birthday for me. I remember watching it because you and Kettle both did it. Kettle's my housemate. He's the best person I've ever met in my life.
He's really the best person.
Yeah. And I remember watching, like you guys both made a video on my birthday and I just watched them like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I can't believe how much love that I got because this person went out their day to make something and post it in front of everyone. That means so much.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate love language. We found the sixth one, guys. Social media affection.
Well, I'm not surprised if it is one, considering the way the world's going.
Yeah, and understanding that like you like that and I like that is really important. Now, if you're in the situation where I think it's like where you can actually have a conversation about this is if you've communicated to your partner, I love social media affection, and you say it would make me feel, because this what I'm going to explain to you the best way to coach someone in a relationship. Right, this is the process. It's going to make me feel so loved when they do that.
Yeah.
Then they might like comment on one thing, and then you say to that person, thank you so much for commenting on that. That made me feel so special. And the other person can go, oh, I'm willing to do this again. You know what I mean? And then they'll put up a story and you go, that story that you said is giving me the most love ever.
Yeah.
And how can I give you more love, right?
Yeah.
Then, for example, if you said to someone, I'd love to have social media expectations, and they didn't make you the highest quality, biggest, best reel ever and posted it like everywhere, and it wasn't just a comment, and you were like, that's not what I wanted, and it was just like a like or a comment, then that's punishment for the person actually trying to give you love. And then you're conditioning them, you're conditioning them to hate and resent posting on social media love.
That makes sense.
So you need to start at the start and appreciate every little thing if you know you got that love received.
Yeah.
Like when you do acts of service for me, and it's even something really little, or if it's like, oh, could you please clean this? And let's say it was like a shit job, even though you don't, but let's say it was a shit job, I'd still go, thank you so much for that. That is the most important thing. So next time you're gonna be like, oh yes, because I expect that, which is forgiveness for me, because I may not do the best job, I may do a shit job, but I need acknowledgement for that.
Yeah.
And then one more thing, sorry, babe.
No, it's fine.
And then one more thing is, if you do that and you educate that, you communicate about that, and you ask that person and you encourage them for a long period of time, and you're not getting the social media love that you need, and you can just say, oh, hey, like I'd actually love, like it would make, if you made a reel about me or just did a post just appreciating me, saying you're proud of me, that would mean like the most. And they're like, yeah, I'd love to do that too. And then they never do, then that's like, Russell and feathers, that's probably a trust issue. Because they don't want to show the rest of the world that you guys are in a relationship. Because I've been in that position before. Where I haven't been 100% committed, and like I've been 99% committed, which is a bitch. 100% commitment's a breeze. And I've been in that position where I don't want to post anything on social media because I feel that that may ruin something in the future for other potential options, when it's the complete opposite. When that just proves to you that you're not committed. Yeah. And you should, And if you're committed into a relationship anyway, and you're free and you're dedicated to love, and other people are going to see that, that increases your value anyway. So you're better off just completely committing. But not even that. Like, I think that's just a sign for you that it wasn't the right thing for you, because if you wanted to, like you do with me, and when I said that, I think it doesn't now, but I think my original thing with posting social media love and receiving that from you was because I have been in every other relationship like that where people haven't wanted to be like, this is my girlfriend Chloe, because they've been that half-assed committed. I'll get a billboard one day. Thank you. Yeah, oh my God, he did joke about that. He said, babe, you don't have a love language. Your love language is a billboard with sparkles and everybody, this is my girlfriend Chloe sign. Fuck yeah, it is, bitches. Fuck it up, my guy. With a leopard print background. Yes, and so many sequins. I love it. I'm here for it. But I don't even remember what I was saying now. But yeah, it can come from a toxic place too. And I think because I had seen someone for quite a while, and it was that thing of like, he didn't even really ask me if I wanted to be his girlfriend. We'd seen each other for like a whole year. I let it drag out. He let it drag out. I was like, do I post about him on social media? I don't know. And it was one of those things. It's like, you just literally have the conversation. If it's important, if it's not, because some people don't care about social media. I think it's different for us because we work from social media, but some people don't care. And as long as you have that communication, I don't think that there should be an expectation. It's the expectation that you two have of each other. It doesn't matter what your friend's doing. It doesn't matter what Joe Blow down the road's doing. It doesn't matter. It matters what you and your partner hold for each other. That's the only thing. So, why are you smiling at me like that for? No, just because. So, just the last thing before we go, out of all the stuff that we've talked about today, I like to leave a challenge for everyone who's listening, because it's all well and good to learn about all this stuff, but taking action is always the most important. So with everything that we've talked about, if you'd like to challenge someone for one thing for them to do today, this week, or whatever it is, what would it be? Oh my God, there's so many things. Well, even just a couple. You can do like a top 3, top 5, whatever you're feeling, babe. What things do you challenge people to? The first thing I'm going to say, because the first thing that came to my head was about the love languages, because everybody I know, they know the love language, but they don't actually action. Read the book. Yeah. Well, I didn't even read the book. There you go. I'm going to read the book. That's my challenge. But we've talked a lot about it. We have. Yeah. So like what Corey and I are very, very conscious of each other's and actively choose to action that, right? So I think if you and your partner, you should have a set time, or when you have a relationship check-in or whatever, sit down and actually like ask each other what you want from both those ways, and then actually try and action that for a week or something, see how it goes. And the other challenge I would say is try talking about your relationship like a third entity. It is its own person. And again, don't get angry, don't get pissed off, don't get upset. It's not about that. It's about looking at what can we work on? What do we really love about our relationship? What, are some things that we want to try, maybe not do, whatever it may be, and actually just try and have a sit down and talk about that. Yeah, you can mention what you don't like about the relationship, because it's not the other person's fault. No. It's not your fault either. No. It's just how you both work in the relationship. Absolutely. So talk about your relationship as a separate entity. Yeah. I love that. Well,
What about you? Do you have a challenge? Or is that the challenge? Yeah.
the challenge for me is after this making sure Barbara doesn't show up.
No. I will eat my breakfast afterwards. Thank you. Whatever. Shut up.
Challenge that I'd like to give to people, man, because I'm so always asking the person to do
Yeah,
this. So Chloe's challenge you guys to talk about relationships if you have one. I would say like 2 challenges I would like people to do on 2 pieces of paper. One is just write down firstly your ideal partner.
Yeah,
write them down. Weaknesses, values, what they look like, how you want them to show up sexually, how you want them to comfort you.
Yeah.
Write down all the things for your ideal partner.
Don't
Star sign,
skip.
relationship, parents with the
Oh,
parents.
star sign, spicy.
Yeah, get all around that, all that good stuff. Write that down, and then once you've written that down, and this takes a bit of time, but write that down, and then write down who do you need to show up as to make sure that happens. And just compare the both. I know it sounds crazy, but if you're on it right now, book it in your calendar.
Yeah.
Write a time.
And don't skip on the details. Like I remember when I was writing mine out originally, I was like, this is so tedious.
17-inch biceps.
Yeah, just don't skip out on the details. Like write the long list, because originally when I was writing it out, it was like longer than my brother's and sister's Christmas list combined. But I was like, this is so much, there's so many details, but I also hold myself to a high standard. So by me verbalizing what I wanted out of a future someone, which ended up being Corey for the moment now anyway, is that like, yeah, I was like, but I hold myself to that. I, am respectful and kind and loyal and all those things, and list all the things that you enjoy about yourself. And then when you write down the list of all the type of person that you want and the values that they hold, and if it's what they look like, like Corey said, if it's the star sign or whatever, go and be that person. Go and be who you would love, because you're going to attract that type of person.
Yeah, well, reflect that. You need to have the energetic reflection, because if you be that person, I think it's too similar.
No, but I think it's like, obviously I'm not going to go get 17-inch biceps, but jeez.
That's what you wanted. You wanted.
Oh my God, my arm looks so small. Shut up. I get it. You have big biceps. But you know what I mean? Like in terms of whether they're loyal and respectful and kind and, all those things, that's important. That's who you show up as, so you can reflect someone with similar values and morals. Not
fuck
someone
it up,
with... He keeps saying that because I always say, fuck it up, my guy. And he just thinks it's so funny.
It is. It's cute. So,
fuck it up, my guy.
Yeah. Well, I guess everyone listening, where can they find you?
Oh my God, wow, I forget I'm a guest. I'm like, this is my show now, everybody. They can find me on social media. Corey can put it in the show notes. I'll link you to my new website. It's bomb. It came up today. Went up today.
And I'll put mine in there in my social medias too. Corey Boutwell, Chloé Bromage, CBCB.
Yeah, CB times 2.
Fuck it up.
Fuck it up, my guys.